following is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, and online at merealty.com. It is 4:03 p.m., almost 4:04, time for the 4 p.m. 411. Just a couple minutes late here due to some technical difficulties, but I think we've got them figured out now. My name is Loyd Kirby. I'm the marketing manager here at WLCN, and our guest today is Sheralyn Bolton, who is with the Lincoln Community Theater Organization, president of the board, and also director for the upcoming performance of A Midsummer Night's Dream. So, Sheralyn, thank you for taking time to be with us.
Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. So, let's start with your directorial hat. Tell us about the upcoming production. I understand there are a few, even though it is a Shakespeare play, that you're putting a few twists on it, so to speak.
A few twists. Well, that's the fun with Shakespeare, is you can twist it up and twist it down and make it a lot of fun. Keeping the original Shakespeare language, so don't let that scare you. Okay. A lot of people get caught up with the these and the thous. You know, maybe had a bad experience in high school or something, but I fell in love with Shakespeare in high school. And so adding a twist to this is that Midsummer Night's Dream is typically in a forest with fairies. We're setting this in a 1920s jazz club, speakeasy, jazz band. So instead of a forest, you're in a nightclub. Okay. Instead of fairies, we got flappers.
All right.
So it's kind of a cool setting there.
And so does that... I'm very unfamiliar with Shakespeare, other than I know he wrote a few plays in his time. But are there any particular references in the original Shakespeare that, like, two things in the forest or two fairies
yes.
that you have to update and translate? And
like I said, keeping the same language. So every time they speak about going to the woods, we've made a great big sign in the club. So the club's name is The Woods. So it's kind of still there.
Okay.
When they talk about go talk to the huntsman is actually the name of the jazz band in the club then. Okay. So we just kind of made some little changes there, but all the language is still the same.
Okay.
So.
And what was there an inspiration or a story behind why you chose to put it in that setting rather than the traditional setting of Shakespeare?
Like I said, in high school, I had a great English teacher, fell in love with Shakespeare stuff, and this is, I think, the funniest of Shakespeare stories. It's just so mixed up and hilarious. And I had that thought in high school, somebody should do this in the 1920s. Somebody should do, well, the time you say somebody,
right, it'll
become you. So this is kind of a long time coming for me to kind of see a little bit of a bucket list, dream come true kind of moment with this show.
And so rehearsals obviously are well underway, and you're, a couple weeks away from opening night?
Yeah, so we got 2.5 weeks.
Yeah,
2 weeks from opening.
Yeah, somewhere I've got the information.
Rehearsals underway. Great thing with this show is I'm so familiar with it. I've read it a million times. I've seen every production, every movie version imaginable. And the cast is still cracking me up. And I've seen their antics every night, and it's still making me laugh. So I figure if I'm still laughing, the audience is just going to go nuts. They're going to lose it. So,
well, there you go. So for those who may or may not be familiar, the opening night is Thursday, July 25th, as well as performances on Friday and Saturday, July 26th and 27th. Both of those are at 7:30.
7:30.
And then Sunday is the matinee performance beginning at 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
All right. Yep. And, of course, performances now take place out at Lincoln Community High School in the spacious auditorium there. So tickets for sale at the door because you've got
at
a
the
lot
door,
more
there's plenty of seating.
Absolutely. So folks may not be aware, though, as far as Shakespeare. When you think of Shakespeare, you think of the traditional, Hamlet and maybe shows in plays in a castle setting and guys that are in leotards and different things. But there's actually been a lot more what I want to say, adaptations or Shakespeare's stories have been used in a lot of modern films and things such as that. So the idea of taking Midsummer Night's Dream and transporting it into a jazz club maybe is not as far-fetched or not as off the wall as one might initially think.
Right, yeah. Shakespeare scripts lend themselves very easily to altering the setting or altering the story. Everyone's familiar with Romeo and Juliet, and there was it came out in the 90s, the Leonardo DiCaprio version of it, Claire Danes, where they kept the language, but they changed the setting to Verona Beach. So kind of that idea where you get that flavor of Shakespeare, but a bit different take on where it's at, just to spark the imagination a different way.
And then sometimes just the story, sort of the plot itself, like West Side Story.
Yeah. West Side Story, yep.
And then I cheated. I used Google. 10 Things I Hate About You, She's the Man, My Own Private Idaho, all more modern films that sort of originated with Shakespeare plot or Shakespeare stories. So I understand, speaking of not necessarily a plot twist, but an adaptation of something from the past being used in modern day, you're going to have a piece of local history as part of your set. Is that correct?
Yes, this is so exciting. So not just are we setting it in 1920s, we've got original 1920s tapestries from the Lincoln Theater when it was a vaudeville stage. Right. So the downtown theater, I wasn't there, but obviously they had a vaudeville stage and they had these giant, gorgeous tapestries. And so those have been preserved by Lincoln Community Theater over the years. And so we've brought them in. We've got them set up in the high school. And you can just see how beautiful, glorious they are. They're just amazing. So original 1920s, giving some good history there, preserving something. It's kind of neat.
Exactly, yeah. And I think a lot of people know that was, as you said, used for live performances, vaudeville performances. Yeah. Nancy Davis, who later became Nancy Reagan, performed there.
Right.
Even Lincoln Community Theater performed a few seasons there after the fire in Johnston, or something in Johnston Center, because I know I played the drums for Grease and one other play there sometime in the 80s. So, it's definitely got a history, and part of it will be on stage here with this production. So we are at 10 after 4 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and take our first break. Once again, we're speaking with Sheralyn Bolton, who is the president of the board of the Lincoln Community Theater, also the director of the upcoming production of A Midsummer Night's Dream, which opens July 25th at 7:30 at Lincoln Community High School in the auditorium. Tickets are $15 for the general public, $10 for students, and more information available at lincolncommunitytheater.org. That's the English spelling of theater.
Fancy, theatre.
There you go, theatre. But once again, we will be back with Sheralyn Bolton and more about Lincoln Community Theater right after this.
Brian Clark State Farm offers a range of insurance products to fit your unique needs and give you a peace of mind. Our dedicated team helps you find the perfect policy to safeguard your biggest investments. Brian Clark State Farm can steer you in the right direction on auto insurance, and we've got your home covered from natural disasters to unexpected accidents. Contact me, State Farm Agent Brian Clark, at 217-732-6211 or visit sfinsurelincoln.com. Go Railers!
Full Gospel Evangelistic Center makes an impact locally and beyond through a wide range of events, ministries, and outreaches. Pastors Steve and Debbie Owens invite you to worship Sunday mornings at 10:30 and attend Wednesday night Bible studies at 6:30. Connect with FGEC online, follow them on Facebook, download their app, and visit their new website at myfgec.org with live YouTube video streams as well as recordings of services and special events. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center, 304 North McLean Street in Lincoln. Whether you're buying or selling your home, the brokers of Me Realty will work with you to get the deal done. As one of Central Illinois' top producing offices for decades, Me Realty has the experience to guide you through the process. You want results? Call the brokers of Me Realty at 217-735-5424, stop by the office at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, or check out local listings online at merealty.com.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Culver's, home of the Butterburger, 2530 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. And we will have some tickets to give away to the Logan County Fair, to the concert by Diamond Rio. A little bit later, you can go online later this week to WLCNonline.com and sign up to win those free tickets. But as I mentioned before the break, right now, the 4 p.m. 411, we are talking with Sheralyn Bolton, who is the director of the upcoming production of A Midsummer Night's Dream for Lincoln Community Theater. It definitely takes a village to put any production together, and I'm guessing
Absolutely.
this one is no exception. Who all have you got in? You want to throw some names out?
Throw some names.
Out?
Well, we have a primary cast of 21 characters on stage. We threw in some extra characters just to fill it out. If we're setting it in the 20s, we need some mobsters, so I've got some extra thugs. So we've got an extra of that. Plus, we created a jazz band. So Midsummer Night's Dream is not a musical, but if you're going to set a play in a jazz club, you better have a jazz band.
Sure.
So I think we'll have 30 people on stage.
Oh, wow.
So I don't want to forget anybody naming off any names. Kind of exciting, though. My husband and my 2 kids get to be in this show, the way the timing and the schedules worked out. So Brian has composed the music for this jazz band.
Oh, okay.
So very interesting, taking the words from Shakespeare and then writing original music to it. And writing some little ditties so characters have like entrance music to come into.
Very nice.
My daughter's one of the flappers. She gets to sing with her gorgeous voice and kind of leads the flappers through their antics. And my son is one of the lovers who gets mixed up in all of the who's in love with whom craziness of the show. So kind of fun working with them. We've got some cast from Springfield, Taylorville, Bloomington, a lot of Lincoln folks. It's really remarkable. We've got, I think, this is just an adult show, so it's from 17 years up, and I don't want to say who's the oldest there, but we've got a good age range, and it's just so fun to work all together, so in all the different capacities.
Yeah, absolutely. So as director, can you kind of take me through the process? I mean, I'm guessing the show is chosen first, and then you're chosen as director, then you have auditions for the parts.
So
then
I really didn't give the board much choice in director on this one, we'll be honest. So committee meets and throws out a bunch of different play and show names and ideas, and we kind of come to a thought on that then the board agrees to, and then we start a process of looking for directors. And when the committee brought up Shakespeare and then said, it's A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I just said, I'm directing. No doubt about this. We're just going to play the presidential card and be like, oop, that's me. Only because, like I've said, this is a show I have wanted to see done forever this way. It's just, I know a lot of other directors would do a great job also. And we have several directors that have worked with us before, so we know it would be good in anyone's hands. But I really wanted the chance to see this come to be. So kind of did that.
there you go.
So I've been working on the script and reading through the things and working with people with the set and costumes for a long time. When we get to auditions, Tim and I did our auditions together for Godspell and A Midsummer Night's Dream, just to kind of see how characters play together. For some of the actors, their availability decided which show that they could be involved in.
Sure.
Some wanted to sing more to do Godspell. Some wanted to act more to do Midsummer. So Tim and I kind of had a card game, swapping cards back and forth. We do have one actor that was in both shows. So Derry Dalby was in Godspell, and he's also in Midsummer Night's Dream. So he's pulling a busy summer doing that. Jeff Prince is also both shows. He played Jesus in Godspell, and he's one of my thugs. So a smaller part in Midsummer. But he gets the extra duty of building all the sets. So he built the Godspell set while he was building Midsummer set while being in the shows. So we've got some remarkable people who are just willing to give so much time and energy to this. We say it takes all the blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, exactly. So, and for people who may not be aware, I'm thinking, if there's like a community benefit concert and a group of people decide, hey, let's put this concert on, you might be able to put that together in, 2-3 weeks, maybe a minimum. But this process is not something you just start 3 weeks ahead of time and decide, okay, 3 weeks from opening night, maybe we should start rehearsing.
So these rehearsals started in May, few nights a week. by the way that the scenes are set, not every character's on stage all the time. So
Right.
we could set scenes so you wouldn't have to commit to every rehearsal to be there. But it meant that you were committed to 1 or 2 nights a week
Sure.
from May until all the way through July.
Right.
Now, we've had people that have had vacations and different things. We work around the schedule really well to let people be involved but still have their life outside of theater, too. So
Is there a life outside theater?
I don't know. For me, no.
Probably not at this
It's so
point.
fun, though. So.
And then, of course, when you hit Tech Week, then it's...
Tech Week is all in all the time. People call it Hell Week, but hopefully not too bad. So far, it's knock on wood. So far, things have been going really great, and we're kind of on a good roll, heading that direction and in a strong position. So
There
that's
you go.
good.
So once again, we're speaking with Sheralyn Bolton, who is the director for the Lincoln Community Theater upcoming production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. We mentioned you're also the board president. How long have you been involved with Lincoln Community Theater?
Well, this is my second year as board president. Presidents work on a 3-year term,
Okay.
and before that, you're the vice president. So you kind of learn the ropes, and then you get to take over. So I think this is my 8th year on the board. I don't know if I've counted that correctly. You're the math teacher.
I'm off
You're the math
clock
one.
as
I
far
don't.
as math goes, so there will be no red check marks.
Yeah. So I didn't get involved. So I didn't grow up in Lincoln.
Okay.
So I didn't, know about Lincoln Community Theater really until we moved here, and didn't really get involved with LCT until their kind of restart, the refresh, reboot, resurrection of it with their show Encore. And just knowing Tim Searby, he pulled me and my kids and my husband into it, and we got involved in Encore. And what year was that? I don't remember. But then we showed up the next summer and just kept showing up and love it. So we always teased that being in the shows together as a family was our family vacation. We didn't take a vacation. We did theater together because
There you go.
you spend about the same amount of money and about time. So.
And you go to exotic places like a 1920s
True.
nightclub
True.
and,
Yep.
and other places. So
Yeah.
you also mentioned how you were sort of a Shakespeare nut growing up, so I'm guessing
Yeah.
there's some theater in your background prior to
Well,
Lincoln Community Theater?
A little bit, very little actually. So I'm from Streeter, Illinois, and though they had a community theater, that was never something I was a part of as a kid. I wasn't there as a kid, so in high school, the theater program kind of shut down the years I was
Oh, wow.
there. Just kind of budget cuts and all the different things. So I helped sort of student direct a show in high school. My senior year, we did Meet Me in St. Louis. I kind of student directed that one in high school. Did a few shows in college, went to LCU.
Okay.
So got to do those shows with Tim Searby, which was just remarkable.
Sure.
And then we were married, we had kids, and so the schedule just wasn't working when the kids were little to get involved with LCT. So then finally the kids were old enough and LCT shut down.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, what do I do? So Tim Searby directed some shows at the church and at the college, so we got involved with that, and then it just led into LCT shows. So it turned into a really great experience, but no, really didn't have a ton as a kid. I had church musicals and, kids choir kind of thing, so
All right.
that's kind of not a huge background, really.
Well, that's okay. Like we were talking about before going on air.
Yeah.
You sort of have these plans of what you may or may not do when you grow up, and then
Yep.
doesn't always work out that way. And
I always said I want to be a butterfly when I grow up. So there we go. You get to be in theater. You get to do whatever.
there are a lot of people who would say I have
Yep.
yet to grow up. So,
There we go.
there we
Yep.
go. So once again, our guest is Sheralyn Bolton. She is the president of Lincoln Community Theater, the board of Lincoln Community Theater, also the director for the upcoming play, The Midsummer Night's Dream. And we'll be back with more with her right after this.
Brian Clark State Farm offers a range of insurance products to fit your unique needs and give you a peace of mind. Our dedicated team helps you find the perfect policy to safeguard your biggest investments. Brian Clark State Farm can steer you in the right direction on auto insurance, and we've got your home covered from natural disasters to unexpected accidents. Contact me, State Farm agent Brian Clark, at 217-732-6211 or visit sfinsurelincoln.com. Go Railers!
Full Gospel Evangelistic Center makes an impact locally and beyond through a wide range of events, ministries, and outreaches. Pastors Steve and Debbie Owens invite you to worship Sunday mornings at 10:30 and attend Wednesday night Bible studies at 6:30. Connect with FGEC online, follow them on Facebook, download their app, and visit their new website at myfgec.org with live YouTube video streams as well as recordings of services and special events. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center, 304 North McLean Street in Lincoln. Whether you're buying or selling your home, the brokers of Me Realty will work with you to get the deal done. As one of Central Illinois' top producing offices for decades, Me Realty has the experience to guide you through the process. You want results? Call the brokers of Me Realty at 217-735-5424, stop by the office at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, or check out local listings online at merealty.com.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cook-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Culver's, home of the Butterburger, 2530 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. And we are back on the 4 p.m. 411. Our guest is Sheralyn Bolton with the Lincoln Community Theater. She is the president of the board and also the director for the next performances of A Midsummer Night's Dream, July 25th through 28th out at Lincoln Community High School in the auditorium. 7:30 performances on Thursday, Friday, Saturday the 25th through the 27th, and then a Sunday matinee at 2 p.m. on the 28th. So we talked a little bit about the show, but as you mentioned, talking to me, we didn't really talk about what the show is about. We mentioned it's a comedy and it's Shakespeare, but can you kind of enlighten those of us who maybe aren't as well versed on our Shakespeare?
Sure. So this is one of the shortest Shakespeare plays. It's also the funniest, I think. Kind of three groups of people. We've got lovers, and they get star-crossed. Now, on the radio, you don't see my finger puppets going on here. But
well, they see it on the live stream.
Oh, so. Good. So boy loves girl. There's a second couple, boy loves girl. Problem is, then there's this mystical, fairy-ish character, Puck, who mixes everything up, love potions people, and end up both boys loving the wrong girl.
Okay.
So then they're chasing each other through the forest, which is now our nightclub.
Right.
And getting all mixed up, trying to propose to the girls and woo the girl, but doesn't work out, and so turns into a great big mess. In the midst of that, we have this group of fairies, and the king and the queen of the fairies, which is now more like the mobster lord or the godfather type character.
Okay.
They've had a little spat, a little marital quarrel.
Okay.
And so he decides to kind of love potion her as a revenge, and she ends up falling in love with the next thing she sees, which happens to be a man who now has a donkey head, which doesn't make any sense other than Puck, this little mischievous character, has spied this group of community theater actors, which is just great for our show.
Right.
So this group of actors, they're rehearsing, and the one guy's just a little bit too arrogant, and so Puck gives him a donkey head, just to be crazy.
All right.
So now the queen is in love with Donkey Head Man, and just chaos ensues at every turn. So the king and queen are fighting. She's in love with the donkey. The lovers are fighting. And then it's all a mess before it has to all get fixed at the end. It does all get fixed. There is a happy ending. I don't mind giving away that spoiler.
Okay.
And then the community theater group gets to put on their play, which is a tragedy. It's comical mirth, and they're terrible at it. So I'm hoping our community theater is better than this making fun of community theater play within the play.
All right.
So it's just laugh after laugh the whole way through. So come prepared to have a good time.
All right. Sounds good. So talked about the community theater pulling off their play and the in-show community theater and not doing so well. Lincoln Community Theater, on the other hand, I think is doing fairly well. Just recently, within the last year or two, purchased its very own building.
We did. We bought a building back in November.
Okay.
So we're working on that. We've got a lot of paperwork to get all of our nonprofit status so that we get the tax exempt stuff. So that's a big nightmare for paperwork, but we're on it. But it is an old building, so it needs a lot of repairs. Okay. If you're in Lincoln, it's the old Dean Leith building, but we're on Broadway Street. So Lincoln Community Theater on Broadway. We've made it. So if you are considering donating and supporting and encouraging theater, helping with this building project is definitely something we're in need of. So you can support online, the lincolncommunitytheater.org. There's donation buttons, sponsorship buttons. We can put ads in our programs. Those are all ways that help us out. The building has been a great home for us. We've got a place where we can build our set pieces and store our set pieces. We've got a nice now air-conditioned room where we can store the costumes and the props so nothing's getting humidity damage or any of that mold damage. There's no animals intrusive there where we're having issues with, you know, rodents or critters getting into the stuff. So it's very well protected. We just need to do the things to take care of the building, get it up to snuff to where we can use it better.
And you mentioned supporting community theater, that you know, folks can donate money, buy ads, et cetera, et cetera. If there's a contractor out there who maybe does building work and would like to donate their services,
take it.
Absolutely. And so if folks are interested in learning more about ways to help or just learning more about Lincoln Community Theater, what would be
best way to go is to the website, the lincolncommunitytheater.org. That answers a lot of questions on there, but that'll link it to the different ways to give and donate or to be sponsored and list your name with that. There's also ways to get involved with there. If you can run a curtain, you can run a spotlight, you can help with building sets or painting sets. We've got spots there where we can always use people. We can always use costume help. If someone can sew, if you can work a hot glue gun, you can be put to work. So
absolutely.
There's a lot of on stage, a lot of backstage people.
Yeah, it definitely takes a village. So
yes.
Once again, we're talking with Sheralyn Bolton, the director for A Midsummer Night's Dream. Upcoming performances, opening night Thursday, July 25th at 7:30, then more evening performances Friday and Saturday, the 26th and 27th, followed by the July 28th 2 p.m. matinee on Sunday. Tickets cost $15 for the general public and $10 for students. We are at 4:30, so is there anything you wanted to plug or talk about that we didn't
just
cover?
Come out and see the show.
All right.
You will not want to miss this. It's a good time.
There you go. So it's Lincoln Community Theater on Broadway, except it'll actually be on Prim Road for those performances. But you made it to Broadway, so
yes.
Mort Guffman would be proud, I'm sure. So that was a way too vague reference. So be sure to tune in. Actually, don't tune in to Viewpoint tomorrow. As a programming note, we will not have a Viewpoint program tomorrow morning. We'll be back with Viewpoint on the following Wednesday, the 10th. You can tune in to the 4 p.m. 411. Next week we will have a representative from the Girls on the Run organization, an after-school sort of a community service organization, and Darian will be here to tell us about that. But for this time, Sheralyn, thank you for
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, go out, see the Midsummer Night's Dream at Lincoln Community High School, put on by Lincoln Community Theater, July 25th through the 28th. More information available at lincolncommunitytheater.org. So for Sheralyn Bolton, I am Loyd Kirby, and thank you for listening and watching the 4 p.m. 411. This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, and online at merealty.com. The preceding program is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.